So TikTok. It's been a minute since I had a 3 o'clock talk with y'all. This is not an easy one. This is not a nice one. I'll make a slideshow later. But as you know, I made a trade. My 302 that I painted red with the black valve covers and the Ford logo that I was trying to make blue and all that. I traded it for a Honda engine. Well, when I got the Honda engine, it was full of rust. Guy tried to tell me it was my fault that it was 3 days worth of rust. It's going to be 2 parts apparently. Well, I took and so I sold the transmission off of it. At that point, I sold the transmission off of it. I didn't know it had water in it. The day after I took the transmission off of it, I pulled the head for the green Civic. Discovered it was an 8-valve head. Didn't bother me. But you can't use a 16-valve head in an 8-valve engine that only has 2 valve release per cylinder. You need 4 valve release per cylinder, especially with a domed piston. So I let all this slide. I didn't say nothing about it, and he hits me up and talks about my block is cracked that I traded him. I'm like, okay. He sends me pictures, and so I take and I say, okay, what you expect me to do about it? I didn't get a response back. And then I got to thinking about it. Well, gee, if the block was cracked or busted, we'll see busted parts, and I didn't know it, and he didn't pull off the block plate when he was at my house, and the engine he gave me was full of rust, and he didn't know it, and I took possession of it, I don't think that's too bad a deal because I had full disclosure on that engine. I made YouTube videos on that engine. On the 302. Which, by the way, turns out to be a 306. Exactly like the motor in the gray truck. So, here we go with the good stuff. So, I move on. And I'm looking at the pictures. Like, I don't know if that's really my block. It don't look like it's painted real good. Well, he sends me follow-up pictures. It is my block. Of course, it had frozen, blown the freeze plugs out of it. It had done that once before, and I drove the old freeze plugs back in, so it shouldn't have had enough pressure to bust the block. But apparently it did. And he continues to tell me not to call him a liar, and I'm telling him not to call me a liar, and it's just a bad situation all around. And it was the worst part about it is I've known the guy since 2011. Yeah, so you gotta watch out. But when both of you get a raw end of the deal, don't go fussing and whining. It ain't worth it. The moral of the story is, if you do a deal with a buddy and both of you miss something when you do the deal and you both end up raw into the stick, just deal with it, shake hands, and keep on going. You're exactly right, Mr. Artie GTO. And the cracks are in the water jackets on the back of the block. It's easily weldable, but he's got to think he's right on everything. So I've seen people weld worse. I've seen people weld Hemis and still run them when they split all the way down the sides. I don't know. It's just a pick and a poke thing, and he don't understand that he screwed me as bad or worse than he screwed. Then I did not mean to screw him. So it is what it is. But yes, sir, I'm trying to prove a point here that he doesn't know everything that he thinks he knows. I've already got the rust out of the engine. I mean, but thank you for responding. Yep, Bitter. As much as I hate to say it, he should have pulled the block plate off if he waited 3 months to pull the block plate off. I mean, I pulled the cylinder head off of that engine that I got from him in 3 days, and he's trying to say that the amount of rust in that engine is from 3 days. There's no way that the top of the piston would be orange in just 3 days. So, I don't know, man. I'm trying to collect people's opinions and prove a point that this guy doesn't know everything he thinks he knows. And that block, unless he's planning on drag racing it, you could get somebody that has a welder with some nickel rod and weld it up and have a nice street driver. I've seen people do worse, weld worse off of Hemis, you know? Say it.
I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, and it might lose me some followers, but it is what it is. I'll just tell you like this. I feel like that man pulled his old 302 block out that was cracked, and he's trying to put it back on you and tell you, oh, you sold me this block that was cracked, blah, 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 when in all actuality, he's got a cracked block in his car and bought your block to put in his car, and his block was cracked, so now he's trying to make you feel bad. You get what I'm saying? That's the way that I feel. And if it was me wearing your shoes and I was in that situation, I'd tell him straight up, bro, I sold you that motor 3 months ago. You should have called me within 3 days or a week, even 3 weeks. You waited 3 months to call me to bitch, moan, gripe, and complain about some shit. That's your problem. You should have called me within 2-3 days, period. Anybody that buys a motor from somebody is not going to just take it home, throw it in the shed, and forget about it. They took it home and fucked with it. So that's how I feel.
So this is where we at with this old Honda Civic, the gray one. You can tell that, what was it, this cylinder was burning oil, that cylinder was burning oil, that one wasn't too bad. They're all running rich. So I found out that the head gasket was blowed, kind of an odd spot. It was blowed from the corners and the drain back holes. It was coming around, following this path, and then going in. So I don't know if the head wasn't seated right, what, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna hopefully stop that thing from smoking. This should all be in one YouTube video, so y'all stay tuned. I'll get you back, you hear? 1500. Alright, guys. So, I've got 11 minutes to do this, and then I've got to make a video and all that for YouTube. So, the difference between a VTEC head, which this is a VTEC head, it's closed chamber, it's not completely rounded, closed chamber, more compressions. This is a non-VTEC head, open chamber, lower compressions. This can be made to run. Do not get it twisted. You can put a dome piston in there and run it. But you also need to realize the valves in this head right here. Maybe that's not the best one to show you. Right here, they are closer together than the valves in this head, which is why I was told that you can run this head on a 8-valve engine, which I really don't believe either, because Give me just a second and I'll show you the because. Alright, because when you try to run a VTEC closed chamber head, see, this is where the round, that's this right here. You see how close the valves are out on that and how close they are in on this. These valves were put on that 8 valve head, which the guy told me, I'll bet you $300 it'll run. No, you are a fucking liar. Bent those valves. You can see this valve is down like this, and this valve is over to the left or right. Let's see which that valve's been open. Sorry, that valve's been open. That valve is bent open. So guys, do your research before you try to build an engine, because people will get you and they will try to get you.